Mike Tyson. We have this is like we've done so much Mike Tyson lately. It's
this
awesome.
has been a very violent episode.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mike Tyson.
It.
Mike Tyson repeatedly punches man who harassed him on a JetBlue airplane.
Wait, real quick, Milani should do a campaign with the guy who got beat up.
Yes.
By Tyson.
Color correcting
Do a little
his wounds.
There we go.
That's perfect.
Now I'm into it.
Yeah.
Late stage capitalism.
That's what they should do.
What up?
That's what they need to do. So it says, Mike Tyson repeatedly punches man who harassed him aboard JetBlue plane. High on my list of things to never do if I want to survive in life is harass or in any way anger Mike Tyson when I'm in punching distance.
Seriously.
Like, here's an example. If you want to argue with somebody on the internet, argue with Mike Tyson on the internet. Don't argue with Mike Tyson in person. Haven't you ever heard seen that quote?
Right.
Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Right.
See, he can't punch you in the face if you're on the internet. So I don't care if you got to fight with fake Mike Tyson 32 on Twitter. Don't argue with the real Mike Tyson in person. It's just not a recipe for success. So there's a flight out of San Francisco International Airport turned violent on Wednesday night when boxing legend Mike Tyson threw punches at a man who was allegedly bothering him on the plane. Tyson repeatedly punched the man who was assigned seat on the flight was behind the boxing legends. The man was allegedly left with a bloody face after Tyson hit him. I know this is going to sound awful, but the video of the guy's face after, like, the way he looks at the camera is absolutely it's the greatest thing I've ever
Oh,
seen.
how he was like pouting with his, he was like,
It was the great, like, because like TMZ, I don't know if they were like trolling, but they showed him beforehand and then they cut to him afterhand and he looks so sad and dejected and like he's kind of bloody, but like in his face.
He was born to be a meme.
Yeah. So it says, unfortunately, Mr. Tyson had an incident on a flight with an aggressive passenger who began harassing him and threw a water bottle at him while he was in his seat. Again,
the water bottle thing is fake news. There's no video of that.
There's no video. Okay, so there's no video.
He's just claiming that.
Okay.
Now.
Well, don't throw water. Even if it's fake news, for anybody who flies with Mike Tyson in the future, do not throw it in the garbage.
Always,
do not
don't even talk to him.
I don't want to choose violence ever. But he was getting up in his space, and it was getting crazy. And like I haven't seen the full video because everything I see is always clipped. Right? There's like 3 different versions out there.
Always be wary of where a video stops and starts. That's the best advice I can give you when you're trying to figure out what is true and what is not through videos on the internet. Be very conscious of where they choose to start the clip and where they choose to cut the clip off. It will tell you a lot about what is going on there. The best examples that can be given are anytime you see something where it's like violent protests and somebody's like getting beat up, you're like, but they show it just as he's throwing the first punch. Right. What they don't show you is what led up to that, which is either that guy pushing him or shouting obscenities in his face. Does that make the violence okay? No, but it makes people less sympathetic when they're like, well, anybody is going to get punched if they're screaming at somebody in their face. That doesn't make it okay.
If someone's screaming in my face, I'm not going to want to punch.
No, me neither.
I will only choose the violence if they come after me and my family physically. Like Tyson shouldn't have done it.
Legally, is it defensible if someone is like getting in your face but not touching you?
No,
are you allowed to defend yourself physically?
I don't know.
I think you're expected to leave the situation.
I think you're expected to leave it.
But even if you're like trying to leave,
it depends. I think if it's just words, you probably shouldn't.
The person
return with violence.
Yeah. The person who harassed Tyson, 36-year-old Melvin Townsend III, reportedly has a lengthy criminal history.
He's a bot. That's a bot.
Melvin Townsend III sounds like a dude who runs like a small printing press with his family and his dad
printing
and
press.
He doesn't even have a printing. He has a kiosk.
Well, maybe they print the local circular for the grocery stores in their town.
Oh yeah.
And Melvin Townsend Sr. is very, very hard on his kids because Melvin Townsend II is a far more well-articulated and educated person, whereas the third kind of had his run-ins with the law. I'm literally making all of this up off the top of my head. I have no idea.
It's just like Hank Williams. All 3 of them.
So we'll see. But so Melvin Townsend III absolutely does sound like a bot name, but apparently that's a real person. Reportedly had a lengthy criminal history. Townsend III was listed as a habitual felony offender in 2019 after he received 25-year sentence for grand theft. But how did he get out? According to Yahoo, the Punta Gorda, Florida. Where's Punta Gorda, Florida? It's a cool sounding name.
Sounds fake.
I don't think that's a real place either.
Do you just think everything is fake?
Have you been living? Are you real? Who are you?
Wait, I thought it was illegal to fly if you have a felony.
Ooh.
No.
Maybe not Florida.
No.
Yes.
I don't know.
I don't think you can.
I think you can still fly.
Or no, you can't leave
You're
the
not
country.
put on
you
a
can't,
no-fly
You can't leave the
list.
country. I'm sorry. You can't leave the
can fly.
country if you have
Yeah.
a felony.
If you can't
Really?
fly
Yeah.
and you're a felon, like half this country, I feel like no Hollywood. No one in Hollywood could fly.
They
you're
would
in a
all do
private
special.
jet.
It's
There
not.
are
It's
some
not that they.
pretty like relatively minor felonies.
But I don't think the
Like,
law sees it that way. It's
Right.
still a
Felony's a
felony.
felony.
Felony's a felony. It's not that they can't fly. It's that they can't leave the country.
Okay.
So it says. At least I believe that to be true. So he's been convicted of identity fraud, trafficking in stolen property, use of drug paraphernalia, and possession of a controlled substance without a prescription. Maybe he bought some of those Mike Tyson edible earpieces. You see those?
No.
He made edibles in the
They were
shape
like
of chewed off
gummies?
ears.
Dude, that's genius.
Yes,
with-
they're called Mike's
bite
Bites.
marks.
That's genius.
Mike Bites.
Oh my goodness.
Uh,
I just think like none of that matters
Nope.
right now. Like even when they say the thing about Depp in the last article about what he said, even if it was hyperbole, it's
Yep.
like we'll have to go to the court. Whatever happens, it's like I don't know.
So
I
it
hate
sa-
these journalists.
So it says after punching the man, a fellow passenger and witness to the incident told TMZ that Tyson did not appear angry at first. Things then took a turn, though. After Tyson took a turn after Tyson took a selfie with the man. Following the photo, the man reportedly kept trying to speak to Tyson. I can absolutely imagine, like, he's on a plane, he's tired, he just wants to relax, and this dude just won't stop.
He even took a selfie with him,
Yeah.
which I want to see.
And then
Really?
Yeah,
that
they
would
took
be
a
great.
selfie, and then the dude just kept on like bothering him.
And the guy filming it from the other aisle,
yeah, was that like his buddy or
who
something?
was dropping N-bombs.
I didn't
He
hear that.
was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he was black.
I don't know. I didn't sound it, but who knows? And he sounded like his last name was also Townsend, Michael Townsend.
So the second,
Yeah.
That was the second.
Melvin Townsend
He was
the
the fourth,
second.
actually. It was his son filming.
Yeah. After punching the man several times in the face, witnesses claim Tyson then walked off the plane. TMZ Sports reports that the man injured in the incident got medical attention and went to the police regarding what happened. According to San Francisco Gate, or SF Gate, Tyson was in San Francisco on Wednesday to attend the city's 420 Cannabis Festival in Golden Gate Park. See, that's what happens. Tyson's on, like, he's bummed the festival's over and he's going home, and you're going to, that's just a bad idea. Shouldn't do that.
He
The
caught
lawyer-
him at a weak moment.
The lawyer for Townsend said like he was just a fan, right?
He got overly excited, and
If you're a fan of Mike Tyson, you should know not to do that.
Yeah.
Right? This man lives with tigers.
Yeah.
if this went to trial, he would need to prove that he's a real fan.
Also,
somehow.
I have a poster in my room.
Yeah, like
Also, it's worth pointing out that Mike Tyson was very daring and ahead of his time when it comes to face tattoos, which are now very popular in current culture. So
yeah.
very, very ahead of his time there. I do love that. This isn't even an article, but I just pulled up, put in Mike Tyson's name on TMZ, and I love this. I don't think I have it on there, but it's just a list of stories that have come out. So it says, these are all things that happened after this incident, just proving that Mike Tyson is out here living his best life. So it says, Tyson repeatedly punches man in the face on plane, bloodies passenger. Jake Paul defends Mike Tyson, plane passenger deserved a beating. Mike Tyson all smiles, greets fan in Miami after punching man on plane. Mike Tyson smokes with Ric Flair and Rick Ross after punching man on plane. So it's just him. It's just him going out like Mike Tyson poses for a photo with fan minutes after airplane beatdown. Like he just goes about
completely unfazed,
just going about his life.
I think he's ascended into poet status.
Could be.
If you've watched his recent interview with Joe Rogan, it's fantastic.
Yep.
I mean, the way he talks about his fearlessness of death.
Yeah.
I mean, he sounds like Socrates. It's amazing. I think he's a highly evolved man and I believe in redemption. He's had a horrible life. Like, he's done a lot of horrible things. And I do believe in redemption. I believe he's done things to be redeemed. And I think he helps people. And
One of my biggest
perfect person, though.
things here is that I think we live in a culture today which places no value on redemption, when it should be all the value in the world should be placed on the idea of the ability for a person to be redeemed.
Yeah, I agree. But I can't stop also thinking about how we all felt about Chris Rock getting slapped.
Yes.
For saying something, right? So I just want to reiterate, if the dude was just saying dumb stuff and there wasn't like a water bottle that was thrown,
even if there was a water bottle, I think like the idea is that Tyson when you're built like that and your arms
he's a weapon of mass destruction.
Yes. There's always been that it's like a joke that boxers' arms are listed as deadly weapons. I don't think that's actually real. I think that was
hilarious if it's real.
but so like when you carry that level of power, you have to. I once heard that with great power comes great responsibility.
Oh, that's a good one.
I've
never heard that before.
I heard that somewhere. I can't remember where. So
Is that Einstein?
It might have been Einstein. So if we're to believe in redemption, he shouldn't have done it, but we'll have to see what happens. But you know who else could you go ahead?
Sorry, do you have the previous article still up?
Which one?
Where the bloodied by Tyson before and after is showing?
Is that here? He looks so sad.
I just wanted to like address that because his smile and optimism is gone.
Yes, he looks very. And then I love how this guy outside
I feel bad for him. I do.
We'll see what happens, but redemption should be a thing, and we should also pray for redemption for Ezra Miller, who was recently.
I'm okay with him just being in the gutter.
Okay. It says Ezra Miller seen on video partying in Hawaii as report of his recent arrest plays on nearby
with
TV.
Mike Tyson.
That would have been funny. So I just want to point out that there is a certain level of privilege given to somebody who can just go on terrorizing, an entire island of people and be allowed to just not lose out on any of his work, not lose out on anything. I don't think he should be fired. I think they should try to get this poor dude some help. But it clearly doesn't look like he wants the help right now. But the video is, if you're listening to the podcast, you won't be able to hear it. But there's this great video of it just says crying from somebody, and then it just shows him. It's like you see Ezra Miller. He's in like a patio area out front of a place. Like looks like he's talking to someone very animatedly, and then but it starts on him on the TV on the inside of the house.
His mugshot.
His mugshot is on the screen. So, given all the controversy surrounding the actor, DCEU fans are speculating what it means for the future of Barry Allen. They should turn him into a boxer or a pro wrestler in the movie. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.